Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and welcome back to another Adorama Picks Rapid Fire Critique, where I take one of your sets of best 10 images and give it a critiquey McCritiquerson. Don't forget, you can click a link down below to submit your best 10 images, and let's see what we have right here. We have photos from Newman Robinson. All right, let's take a look at what you're shooting with and then critique your images. This is with a Nikon D500 with a 150 to 600. That's either a Sigma or a Tamron. Shot at f8, 600 millimeters, ISO 1600. So this is a crop sensor camera. Let's look at this photo and tell you what I think. I hate it. Is that harsh? Is that harsh to say I hate it? Let me lead or go in with some positive sides of it. I like the framing of the bird in terms of the bird being in the frame. What don't I like about it? The crop, that it's a square. I don't like the sepia tone look at all. This is nature. It feels like you're trying to hide something with this image by doing this type of edit and trying to make something out of something that's not there. It's not a great image. It is a snapshot. Now, I hope you can understand that I'm not being a dick just for being dick's sake. This is just it's a snapshot. You can agree with that, I hope. If not, leave a comment down below with telling me why this is a good image. You guys are more than welcome to leave the comments as well along with me to say I agree, I disagree. But the point of making a critique is to give the feedback and try to make it better. In this case, I actually didn't realize that the feet are probably cut off, so I'm not a big fan of it. I just don't like I said I like the composition a little bit because I was trying to find a positive, but now that I see that the feet are cut off, I don't like it at all. This is not a good image. Get rid of it, throw it away, but learn from it. Don't do the sepia thing. It comes across as if you're trying to make up for not a good image, and it doesn't work. Now this is much better. It's a giraffe. Hello, I'm a giraffe. Look at, I'm Jeffrey the giraffe. Did anybody remember Kitty City? You know, Toys R Us is Jeffrey the giraffe, and Kitty City was Tommy the kangaroo. Kimmy the kangaroo? Teddy the kangaroo? Somebody help me. Kitty City's mascot was what? I know Jeffrey the giraffe is Toys R Us. Lionel the kangaroo? Somebody help me with the kangaroo. So what do I like about this image? Well, it's color. It looks good. We have some nice isolation of the subject, which is a giraffe. It's got a really nice lip on him. 220 millimeters, 800 ISO, 1/2500th of a second at f5.3. You could drop your ISO here. I'm not going to yell at you for that because I am a photographer who rides my ISO and leaves it where it's at many times. But if you're outside, you don't need to be at 1/2500th of a second to freeze action because this giraffe doesn't look like he's moving too far or too fast, especially when you're taking a shot like this, isolating his head, and they move pretty slowly because they're always being giraffes, except for when they're running. Man, they're fast, and they got these horns on their head. Damn, those are super sweet horns. Yeah, just be careful with that. You could probably cut the ISO in half and the aperture, and the shutter speed in half, and 400 would be better than 800. But with your camera, it's not that big of a deal. But if you ever run into noise issues, just drop your ISO and be cognizant of that outside. So we got a Ducky McDuckerson thing here. Love the down feather. Oh, that's a goose, right? 600 millimeters. Holy Jesus. f8. You could be at 6.3 because you don't need to be at f8 for this. What I don't like about this is how it's not isolating the subject. You are so far away, which is not your fault. Here, let's point out what I do like. I do like the fact that you have the goose right here and you have a perfect reflection of the goose. Maybe a higher angle could work out for here, but definitely isolating the background because the background sucks. It sucks because of the dirt, and it's not that interesting. So maybe a way to get rid of that is to move up to a higher angle if possible. I know you're zoomed out to 600 millimeters times 1.4, which is like, what, 900-ish millimeters? Something like that on a crop sensor camera, 600 times 1.4. I don't know math. Do I look like a mathematician for you? No, but I think it's something like that. Leave a comment down below. What is 600 times 1.4? Everybody leave that down below for me so I can know. But I just think that you could isolate this bird better because the background at f8 it's just very snapshotty. And it could have more contrast too. Moving on. Much better. Don't like the crop again, but it's much better. This is taken at 600 millimeters again. That's fantastic. I guarantee you that it's cropped a little bit. But here, now we're at ISO 100 at 1/125th of a second at 6.3. I now think this is where you could bump your ISO a little higher, especially to freeze those wings or to do whatever you need to do if the buggy McBuggerson is going to fly. Oh, and you're zoomed out to 600 millimeters times 1.4. You need to keep in mind that I just don't want to kick the cat as I cross my leg. What you want to keep in mind is that you're breaking all the rules. You're holding the shot at 1/125th of a second. You did a masterful job getting a sharp image, and I bet you the lens has optical stabilization, which helps you out quite a bit. But that's super slow, 1/125th of a second at 900-ish or 800 and some and change millimeter equivalent to handhold that. This is where you could have been at 800 ISO and at 1/1000th of a second. Actually, let's do the math, the other math, the photography math. Let's build the shutter speed up. One stop. Okay, let's get up to 800 ISO. So we're going to go from 100 to 200 is one stop, 200 to 400 is two stops, and then 400 to 800 is another stop. That's 3 stops of light. So I'm teaching you guys how you can build the exact same exposure right now. This is like 3 shots or less. We went up 3 stops with our ISO. To get the same exact exposure that we're looking at right now, I need to go up 3 stops with my shutter speed. So 1/125th, if you double it, you get to 1/250th. Double it again, you get to 1/500th. Double it again, 1/1000th. Turns out I guessed right in the first place when I said this is where you could shoot the other way. So that's a little bit of math right there, helping you guys understand the how you build your exposure. Boom. That's a good one. I like this shot a lot. Give me more contrast, though, because I think it would be much better with a little bit more contrast. Okay. Can you play with my hair, please? 420 millimeters. Okay, this is fine. I hate the crop. Why are we cropping everything like this? Stay with a full frame. If you're going to crop an image, which is up to you personally, stay with the full frame nature of it. Not the full frame nature, but the proper aspect ratio. This cropped crap doesn't work. And maybe you could say, well, I was going for an 8:10. That doesn't, online, just leave it the regular aspect ratio, even if you're going to crop it. So what don't I like about this image? So what do I like about the image? I like the look on this thing's face. I don't know what kind of animal it is. It looks like you're using too much of the shadow slider to be brought up there. The crop throws me off. Cut off the fingers down here. I would want better composition because remember, just because you can shoot everything super tight doesn't mean that everything should be shot super tight. You have the ability to shoot wider here. Let me see shots with both animals in there, full body, sitting on what they're sitting on. Then you can go into the detailed shots. But as I've always said, a headshot under the Eiffel Tower where you don't see the Eiffel Tower could have been a headshot in somebody's basement in the middle of Topeka, right? It doesn't matter where you take a headshot, so show the scene. Show the scene a little more. I like it's frozen. It's nice and sharp, so nice job there. The exposure looks pretty good. Oh, shit, 1/80th of a second at 420. Totally breaking the rules again, getting away with it, but be cognizant of this. This is, again, where you should have been at 800 ISO, and we already figured out how you do your math for that. Just 3 stops. 100 to 200 to 400 to 800, that's your 3 stops. And then 1/80th, okay, I'm doing it again. 1/80th doubles to 1/60th, doubles to 1/320th, doubles to 1/640th, and that's your exposure that you would have had if you were at 800 ISO. Moving on, .org. Yeah, see, that's a little better. I don't mind that it's tighter for here, and the background is better because we have another flamingo in the background. Look at the beak. Hello. What a sweet looking beak. Great detail brought out of here. Again, now you're at 1/1000th of a second at f6. You're zoomed to 420 again, and it looks perfectly fine. You're even able to isolate the background or the subject from the background, but it works better than that duck photo earlier because you have something in the background that makes sense that's out of focus. Moving on. What the hell? Is that a chipmunk with snot in its nose? Kitty, do you want to see the chipmunk, buddy? No, he's sleeping. He doesn't want to see the chipmunk. 600 millimeters, 1/1000th of a second at 200 ISO. It's fine. It's cropped the wrong. I don't like the crop. Please stop doing that. I do like the reflection in the eye. I do like the sharpness. The reason you're seeing grain here at 200 ISO, where you shouldn't be seeing noise and grain, is because the image is cropped a ton. Keep this in mind, everybody. It's not the camera that sucks at high ISO. It's generally speaking, it's you are the reason your camera sucks at high ISO. Because even at 200 ISO, like this chipmunk photo right here, has noise and grain because it's been cropped to the nth degree. Take that into consideration when you're shooting your photos. Even at lower ISOs, the more you crop, the more you introduce noise and grain. So learn what you're doing, because even at higher ISOs, if your exposure is right and you don't crop heavily or at all, which is my recommendation, you won't have as much noise or grain, and then you won't bitch that your camera sucks. Keep that in mind. My Gear Vault. Input, organize, protect. Download now for free at mygearvault.com or the Apple App Store. Coming soon to Android. Moving on. Not trying to be harsh. Square crop again. I like the image, but we see how we're getting some discrepancies in the image because of the crop. You're at 600 millimeters. I would like to see the original. ISO 200, 1/12/50th of a second is fine. You could probably go faster a little bit, but you did a good job with this one. Just let the image breathe a little bit. If you're gonna crop it, leave the aspect ratio where the aspect ratio should be. That's my feelings on that. I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm just being honest with you guys on this one. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you like the heavy crops that aren't kept in the regular aspect ratio and are just tight shots of tight shots? The action that's captured is spot on. The focus is spot on. So all of that stuff that you're doing is great. Your exposures are fine. You still need to, I think, tweak some of those exposures for those situations you're in, especially hand holding, but the gear's helping you out here with the OS and all that stuff like that. Moving on, same thing, terrible crop. Terrible, and 1/50th of a second, what are you doing? At 480 millimeters. I don't know if this is auto, because nobody sets their camera to 250 ISO, which leads me to believe there's some auto settings going on here when it comes. I don't know if I can see this stuff. Copyright, I like the copyright data is in there. I don't know, did it tell me mode? Does it tell me mode? Give me a second, guys. Max aperture, 6 mode. Metering mode, spot. All right. Got your spot metering on. Sensitivity to recommended exposure index, ISO speed. It's not telling me what it was shot at, but it's cropped again. And 1/50th of a second, I can't believe that it's sharp at 1/50th of a second. That lens must be kicking ass with that OS, especially hand holding at 480 times 1.4. But again, just like with human beings, you don't want to cut animals' legs and limbs off in certain areas because it detracts from the image. There's no interest to this image. There's no life in the image, in the animal's face. That's not your fault, because certain animals just don't show interest in their faces because they don't usually smile, but the apes do. The apes look pretty good. But why are you cutting off the paws and the hands and the legs and all of that? This is just a snapshot from a distance of this animal. If you want to take it to the next step, try to find some interest in the images. I know it's difficult at the zoo or wherever you're at, but you just have to try to build some interest. And in this case, with the crop tighter like this, I don't think it gains it. Or even if this one's not even crop tight, because this is just how it's shot, I just don't think it's giving enough to me to make me like it at all. Moving on. Now that's good. Kitty, you want to see this one? No, he's sleeping. Now that's much better. What is this shot at? 600 millimeters. Holy shit, are you far away from everything? But this works. The sky is blue. The bird is blue. The clouds are cloudy. The bird is cloudy. This is a cool shot. This is the best shot of the entire bunch that I've seen because it's interesting. You've got the full bird in there. You've got the colors matching the background, which just so happened to happen. You've got a cool composition. The fact that it's not right in the middle looks really good. The fact that I can't tell you that it looks like it's cropped and it's at the proper aspect ratio makes me like this. Do you see what happens with good images? This is the difference between a snapshot and a photograph. A snapshot makes you sit there and go, yeah, that's not very good, and it doesn't elicit a response or an emotion. But a good photograph elicits an emotional response and reaction. So where I've been harsh on most of the other photos, I come up to this bird photo and I go, yes, this is what I've been looking for. This is a winning shot compared to all of the other shots. This is a great shot. So nice job on this one, Newman. Nice job. And that's the last photo. You saved the best for last. I appreciate that. How do I get back to, I don't want to go back to the photo stream. So I appreciate you sending in these images. I really do. And I hope you don't take it the wrong way, and I hope you take this as constructive criticism, because that is how we learn as photographers. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is the best stuff since sliced bread if it's not. That's what critiques are about. Critiques are about giving you the honest and truthful feedback while pointing out positives and negatives, but also giving you feedback and encouragement for how you can get better. The same thing applies in the comments. If you're going to leave a comment on somebody's channel, or you're going to leave a comment on somebody's images, sometimes you do kid gloves, but don't just say, it sucks. Say why it sucks and what could make it better. Try to reverse it and switch it, whatever Missy Elliott says. Slurs, whatever she said, you do that. Think about it. I don't like the image, but how could you do it? So here's what I like about the image. I like that you captured the bird's eye. It's nice and sharp. But in the future, maybe try doing this, this, or this. Don't give definitives because you don't know the situation that the person was in. I'm going to leave it at that. This was a harsher one. I don't know why. I'm not in a bad mood at all. I'm not in a bad mood. I got my cat under the desk, right, kitty? Yes, you. Oh, hi. Oh, he's so good. If he came up, I would say hi, but he's rolled over on his back saying hi to me. This is another Adorama Picks Rapid Fire Critique. You can go ahead and submit your own. Look for the link down below. And at Adorama Picks, I get metal prints made. Speaking of metal prints, My Gear Vault. Input, organize, and protect your gear. Download right now at mygearvault.com in the Apple App Store, and coming in June for Android. It's coming, Android. We got you. We got you covered. Anyway, I love these metal prints. This is a little 6x6 metal one that I did from Adorama Picks, and this is how it stands on my desk. These make little cool gifts to give away of people, especially of the last bird shot. Give that to somebody and have them put it on their desk. And that is where I'll leave it. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.
Subscribe now! Watch this video.